Hello, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to see all of you today participating in our webinar about artificial intelligence and the way how we can implement that practically in the medium and large enterprises. My name is Andros Gavriluk, and I'm happy to welcome all of you here today. So let's first of all see if everything is working nicely and you can see and hear me well. We have a chat window here in Zoom, what you can use throughout the webinar to talk with me, to ask questions, to put some of your comments, and in general actively participate during the webinar. So yeah, thanks, Catherine. I can see that at least for you, everything is working well. It means that we can start. I see that some people are still joining, but it's 12 o'clock already, so let's start. And let's begin with a short introduction. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Andres Gavriluk. I'm co-founder of Pragmatic AI, and last 12 years I have spent working in IT industry, primarily dealing with various automation and digitalization projects. So I have been working in many large enterprises here in Estonia and abroad, like Omniva, Kredex, Elering, Estonian Taxan, Customs-Port, and so on. And my main focus was always on kind of helping companies to be more efficient through the digitalization, through automation, and today primarily through the application of artificial intelligence. So, our today's webinar, the main goal of it is to equip you with a clear and practical understanding and overview of how artificial intelligence and automation and AI agents can be used practically within the companies to rather grow a company, achieve better sales, achieve better production levels, and through that work out some competitive advantage. So everybody is talking a lot today about artificial intelligence, and there is a reason why everybody is talking about artificial intelligence, as this new technology is allowing us to make some things a little bit different, a little bit better, a little bit faster. But as always, as every other technology, it has its own limitations. So my goal today is to provide you with as much clarity around how and what exactly can be used, how it can be used within your companies, and obviously answer all your questions, what you may have. So throughout the webinar, feel free to put all your questions and thoughts to the chat, and I will be happy to share with you my experience and my knowledge. So how exactly our webinar is going to be structured? We are going to start with talking a little bit about the higher picture and understanding why at all we are talking about that today. What are the capabilities, opportunities that those new technologies like artificial intelligence and automation in general are opening for the companies? We're going to recognize what opportunities are those companies creating for themselves who are today proactively implementing artificial intelligence and how it is helping them to grow, to develop, and also to compete with other companies on the market. Then I will talk a little bit about the nature of artificial intelligence tools, how those tools can be applied, and will share with you some success stories from our local Estonian companies, like what exactly they are doing today, what exactly kind of solutions they are using and applying, and what were the results that we were seeing. I will share with you some best practices of implementing AI solutions, basically where to start from, what to keep in mind, and how to ensure that the AI implementation is going to be successful. And we are also going to do a small practical exercise. So I will show you how to build a very simple AI assistant that, despite of its simplicity, can bring a lot of the value for the company or for the particular department. So that's the plan for the next 1 hour. And before we start with that, let's get to know each other a little bit. So it's really important for me to understand, first of all, what was the main motivation why you are here today, as well as where you're coming from, what is your industry, what is the size of the company. And on top of that, I would like to ask you to think about one particular thing. And the thing is, think about how much do you feel at this particular moment of time, your organization or maybe your particular department is spending time on tasks that at least potentially could be automated with the help of artificial intelligence. Like, is it 1 hour or 5 hours or 10 hours? Whatever you feel is right, please just share that with me in the chat. And later I will share with you some statistics so we will be able to compare your feelings with some research and statistics what was done lately within Estonian companies. So I will give you 1 minute of time to just think a little bit and then share your thoughts as well as your name, industry, and the size of the company with me in the chat. Cool. Nice to meet you, Kim. And what is your opinion about how much your organization is spending time on tasks that can be automated? And also about what about the rest of the people participating here? What is your opinion? So you can just quickly drop that to the chat. Great. Nice to see you, Daniel. So some opinions about the amount of the time your companies are spending on the tasks that can be automated, can be simplified with the AI. So as you can see, I will be trying to engage you during today's webinar as much as possible, as this is really ensuring that you're going to get the better experience, you're going to learn and know more things and remember more things. And for sure, our conversation is going to become much more productive. Okay, so Kim is thinking that repeating tasks and use AI as assistant around 80%. Okay, cool, great. Thanks for your opinion, Kim. So I hope that all the rest of you have also come up with some opinion. I see that Jorge is sharing that it's around 10 hours, which is really great. Great suggestions. Okay, cool, great. So guys, thanks first of all for sharing that with me, and let me now share with you some statistics. So before this webinar, I made a little bit of research and I found an amazing study done by the Implement Consulting Group in cooperation with OECD. So they built a comprehensive research named the Economic Opportunity of AI in Estonia. Within that research, they interviewed almost 1,000 of various companies, mapped what they are doing, how they are doing, and what is the level of the automation in average Estonian companies. And what they have found is that up to 27% of all working time in Estonian average company can be technologically automated. By technologically automated, we mean with various types of technologies, not only AI, but also robotic process automation and other technologies. But why this is important is that if we look at the same thing in numbers, in hours, we can basically see that 5 up to 8 hours is lost every week by an average employee on routine tasks that can be automated. And what was really interesting that for the company owners and senior managers, this number was almost 2 times higher. So company owners and senior managers are in average losing around 16 hours per week on tasks that today can be like simplified, automated, and so on. So where does this time go? What are those core activities that basically are stealing our time? The main things are the activities related to searching for the necessary information, like working out through documents and databases, looking for the information about the right product, or looking for the right technical requirements and specifications, or identifying information in regards to the particular customer or customers. Then various tasks related to structuring and entering data from one system to another, so the larger companies, the more there are systems, and very often employees are basically moving the information from one system to another manually. Then preparing various summaries and reports based on the large documents and data sources. Then working on personalizing and adapting letters, communication, and documents like the offers, quotations, price inquiries, project documentation, and so on. And communicating with customers and suppliers to gather the needed information. So basically writing letters, writing follow-ups, gathering and processing the information within those letters, and so on. So those are the primary activities people spend their time on today that can be quite well automated with the technologies that are available for us today. What is even more interesting is that if we start looking at the same numbers from the perspective of money, we can see what is the real potential for the company and why companies need to pay the attention and need to think more about adopting AI and adopting automation. So as you can see from this slide, if we calculate what could be the monetary saving per one average employee, if we would be able to basically save those 5 hours every week of his or her time, then taking the Estonian average salary with all the labor cost and taxes, which is around 20 euros per hour, we are going to save 5,100 euros or 260 hours of work per one employee per year. And in case we are having some employee with a high administrative workload, like maybe a project manager or the customer service representative, who is spending not 5 but 8 hours per week, the potential saving is 8,200 euros per year. Now, when we multiply that with scale, so let's assume that this is a company that is having 25 employees, and per every employee, we would be able to save those 8 hours per week by applying automation, by using AI. We will already get quite a significant sum of money. So it is going to give us 122,000 of euros of saving per year, or 6,500 work hours, which is already quite a significant amount of money that can be rather taken out as a profit or reinvested into building new services, new products, improving processes, and so on. So this is the main topic, and this is the main reason why we are here today, because we have arrived to the moment when technology and artificial intelligence in particular is opening new opportunities, new ways for the company to be way more efficient, to earn more, to reinvest more, And the companies who are doing that are obviously getting competitive advantage comparing to the companies who are doing nothing. And let me share with you some real life experience. So a couple of months ago, we were having a project with one of the construction companies here in Estonia. This company is quite a traditional construction company who every time when they are getting a new project are running a procurement process. So for every project they need to buy a lot of various materials. They have a database of various suppliers, and their team, there were 3 people working in the procurement team, were spending basically full time to send out the RFQs to gather the information from various suppliers about the material prices, the availability, making the analysis, and based on that, making a decision where it is most reasonable to buy the specific material. So by applying artificial intelligence to automate this process, by basically replacing the process of sending out the RFQs and preparing them to suppliers, getting the necessary information from them, analyzing it, and preparing the analysis like which supplier is the best to buy the particular material, they were able to reduce the time necessary to perform the procurement for the particular project 55%. And in a single numbers, that mean that right now, instead of 3 people working in the procurement team, they're having 2 people working in the procurement team, and one person was able to fully reorganize her work and start dealing more with the sales, with the planning new projects, and so on. And in euros, the annual saving was the 48,000 euros, or the one-man full year salary. So this is basically a real experience that is proving that the numbers from the research I shared with you, as well as your feeling, what you were sharing with me in the chat is true. So it's really so that artificial intelligence and automation can really influence the processes, making some of them way more efficient, way more faster, and allowing people to start and companies to start working in a little bit different way. So let's now, guys, validate that with your reality. Can you please shortly share with me in the chat which processes or routine tasks do you see take up the most time in your company or your department? I see that some of you were already sharing some thoughts about the repeating tasks, but still, what about the rest of you? So what are those processes and tasks that basically consume the most time in your company and department? Routine tasks, repeatable tasks. Share please that with me in the chat. And those guys who are actively asking questions in the chat, don't worry. I will later take time to answer all your questions. So I will not do that now, but a little bit later when we arrive a little bit more to the end of the webinar. So don't worry, your questions will not be lost. So I see such suggestions as searching for data, information, and preparing reports. Okay, deep research and analysis. Cool, great. What about the rest of you? How do you feel? Which routine tasks are consuming the most of the time in your company or your department, or maybe even in your personal work, everyday work, what you are doing? Jira board tasks take a lot of time. Okay, clear. Discussing with end customers the details and conditions of the new sales. Okay, cool. Thank you guys for sharing that. So let's then now move forward. The one more thing what I would like to highlight here is that I'm clearly seeing from my experience that artificial intelligence is creating a strong competitive advantage for those companies and also for those people who are proactively studying that, experimenting with that, and applying that. And here is why. First of all, when you start using artificial intelligence on a scale, you immediately gain possibility to move way faster than your competitors. And your customers can see that. So just an example from my reality, one of our customers who was working on giving the business loan decisions before applying AI, the average time to give a decision to the company was around 2 weeks. After applying artificial intelligence, it was 3 days. So it's a significant difference between what it was before and what it is now. And it is significant difference comparing to the competitors. So if you start now to do your job like 70% faster, but your competitors are still as slow as you and they were before, your customers can see that. And very often it will influence their, for example, buying decisions. The second important thing, you can now start offering your products and services at lower costs because it is allowing the company to reduce the routine, to reduce some related cost of producing the product or the service. The second important thing is AI is enabling the people and the team to focus on what truly matters. So when we reduce the routine, we allow people to deal more with tasks that they really like, that bring value to the customers, that we give them time and opportunity to execute important ideas. And as a result, employees are less stressed and more motivated. That's why it is great that all of you are here today, as you are trying, as I understand, trying to understand more and to use this technology and those opportunities to build your own competitive advantages. Let me now share with you some examples of how I see and what we have built for various companies and how companies here in Estonia, for example, are already adopting AI to transform some of those processes. So the first example, what I would like to share with you is a TalTech IT Huviarataja solution. So basically, I believe probably all of you know TalTech, that's the largest university of Estonia, and their challenge is that they have a lot of programs, a lot of bachelor programs, but people who finish the school, graduate the school, and want to enter university very often doesn't have a clue what they want to learn and which program is the best for them. So they really struggle to find the right direction. And as a result of that struggling, sometimes they lose some potential students. Sometimes students are choosing the improper direction, what they don't like, and as a result, there is a high drop off and so on. So what was the solution that we built to get in cooperation with them? That was an AI powered career mentor that chats with the user to understand better his or her preferences, his or her goals, his or her interests, and based on that, to recommend the most suitable curriculum. As a result, it is helping the person to make more reasonable choice where he or she is understanding what exactly he or she is choosing. Also to reduce the amount of questions that TalTech customer support or onboarding team is receiving. And in perspective, we believe to also reduce the drop-off. So this solution, for example, was built within the 6 weeks, and the total cost of that for the customer was under 15,000 euros. And as a result, right now, thousands of school graduates are able to use this tool, receive 24/7 guidance, and also the broader perspective is to increase the number of applicants, increase the number of students in the TalTech. By the way, this solution is also fully ready. It is now in active piloting, so I can share that with you as well if you are interested to try that. Unfortunately, it's only in Estonian at the moment, but still, if some of you speak Estonian, or you can use the Google Translate, you can use the link in the chat and later just see how the solution is working. And basically, guys, what we are talking here about, it's the product recommendation solution. So it's a traditional use case when company is having a lot of products, a lot of services, and customers are struggling to choose what is the proper for them. So you build a solution to help customers to identify what is the best fit for them. Another example from a completely different industry was the solution what we built for one large Indian retail customer. So this is a retail network, a retail company that is having a lot of physical stores where they're selling digital goods. And their challenge was that they're continuously hiring sales consultants. And every time when they publish a job offer somewhere in the portal, within couple of hours, they're gonna to get couple of hundreds of applications. And the challenge was that majority of those applications were scam. So people are just they are not suitable candidates. They're just sending their CVs and resumes everywhere. And as a result, HR team recruiters are overloaded with processing those CVs, processing those resumes, and so on. So what was the solution that we built for them was the recruitment platform where the candidate to apply needed to upload his or her CV, his or her motivational letter, and on top of that, pass a short asynchronous video interview. So basically the computer is asking you a question and you're recording an answer in a video format. And then artificial intelligence algorithm was used to analyze the CV, to analyze the cover letter, as well as to analyze the video answers. And based on that, give some preliminary suggestions to the recruitment team who of those candidates are best fit for the specific position and who of them maybe are not a good fit. So as a result of this platform, the time spent on the initial candidate screening went down 70%. And the company is using that already more than a year. They were able to make the recruitment cycle 3 times faster. And what was interesting, also improve the experience of the candidates, as the artificial intelligence platform was not only able to assess how well do they fit for the particular position, but also give a short feedback and explain the person why he or she was rejected, which is very valuable, as maybe you know, when you apply to different places, very often you receive zero feedback. And this is a frustrating experience for many candidates. So Marco is asking what it replied on a scam CV. Marco, basically the artificial intelligence was putting together a very beautiful letter based on the assessment of this particular person's skills and experience, and just explaining that, hey, sorry, unfortunately, you are not the best because you are missing, for example, the communication skills could be better, or your English pronunciation is not so good as we need. So we would recommend you to work on improving that and improving that, and then you're welcome to apply again. So we were considering this applicant as a real human who needs some valuable feedback and theoretically can use this valuable feedback to improve. One more example, what I would like to share with you is the procurement agent. I talked already about that a little bit before. I would now just give you a little bit more details about what was the solution inside. So basically, as you already know, the company had a challenge of organizing the procurement process and getting the understanding where to buy a specific material from. So what was the solution? That was an AI agent which was taking a specific project material necessity and then the database of the suppliers. Finding out from the database of suppliers who is offering a specific materials, then automatically writing for them emails and sending those emails out. So basically sending out a request for the quotation. Then the AI was waiting them to respond and send back the offer. And if there were no response, then the AI was automatically sending some follow-ups as well. So once all the responses were there, another AI agent analyzed all of them together and based on that prepared an Excel file with the analysis and recommendation for the procurement team, where from does it make sense to order a specific material. So this solution, it took around 3 weeks of time to build such a system, and the cost was under 10,000 euros. And as I mentioned already, the purchasing team workload as a result reduced almost 50%, and the return of investment was achieved within the first 3 months, as they basically freed up one full-time person who was relocated to work completely on different tasks. So those are a couple of practical examples for you guys to empower and show that artificial intelligence and all those tools and all this buzz, it's not only hypothetical, but there are specific places and specific use cases where companies are able to apply that, are able to use that efficiently, and are able through that to get some valuable results. So let's now talk a little bit about how it is possible to transform some of your processes with the power of automation and AI agents. And the first thing what I would like to do is to make it clear what do I mean when I tell a word or term AI agent. So what does it mean to build or to have or to use an AI agent? So when we talk about AI agents, what do we mean is an intelligent information system. So it's just a system, just a software that is built to use artificial intelligence, or in particular, large language models, to independently perform certain tasks or certain processes. So that's the main goal. And through that, to save time, to speed up some workflow, or introduce automation. So in a way, we can compare an AI agent to a smart employee who can not only think, but also analyze, process some documents or some data, maybe manage some emails, and also make simple decisions. So how this is achieved and what types of agents in general we can have. First of all, let me show you some examples. Here on this slide, you can see an example of a simple customer support agent. This agent connects to the mailbox where customers are sending their questions, maybe their price requests, quotation requests, and so on. And we are using artificial intelligence for the following tasks. The first thing, we are using artificial intelligence to classify the email, to understand what this email is about. Like, is this just a question? Or maybe this is a refund request? Or maybe this is a technical issue. So it is important for us to understand what an email is about, because for different type of emails, we may have a different business process, different logic. Then we can use artificial intelligence to automatically solve some of those requests. So maybe there are some basic frequently asked questions or things that can be easily retrieved from our documents or databases. We can put AI to prepare the answer and rather send that automatically back to the customer, or just put to the human dashboard where the customer service representative can review it and then maybe change, maybe not, and send that out to the customer. But we can also execute other options. So for example, if we need to send this particular request to the technical team, we can register a ticket in the Jira, or maybe we can put the information to the CRM or to our help desk system, and so on. So what this agent is doing mainly, it's executing itself every time when there is a new request, helping out to understand what the email is about, and based on that, semi-automating or automating processing of those requests. Here is another example. Your AI agent can look as a chatbot. So it can be a chatbot that, for example, is available for your sales representatives. And this chatbot, for example, is helping to put together the price offer. Now, what differs this chatbot from the traditional ChatGPT, for example, is that this agent may have access to your internal file and document storage, or maybe access to your CRM or some other system where I know you're planning projects. calculating something, maybe to your schedules, to your availability, to your calendars, and it can analyze, process this information in order to prepare the relevant price offer and automate those activities that sales representatives need to do to gather this information manually. But as a result, the result will be that the chatbot will return the information or the price quotation to the sales representative, and then the human will continue with that. And the third example, what I would like to share with you is that your agent may also be built to automate some more complicated process where basically inside you're using artificial intelligence multiple times for different tasks. So if before I have shown you quite a small use cases, like just getting an email, classifying and answering, or helping with the price quotation, but you can also apply AI to do multiple tasks in order, for example, to help you with the marketing automation. So let's imagine that you want to automate or semi-automate at least your content production. You may have a lot of different sources, like you're publishing content in LinkedIn, and then you have a company blog on your website, and then you have Facebook, and maybe some other places. And you want to produce content for all those places regularly and with a good quality. You can put AI to, or even several AI agents to do the following tasks. You can have an AI researcher that is weekly doing some research about interesting topics, interesting news, and based on that coming up with some interesting topics. Then you may have another agent that is taking those topics and crafting a copy based on maybe on your style, based on your preferences, based on the way how you have done that before. This agent is creating a post in different formats. So the one format is for the blog article, another format for Facebook, third format for the LinkedIn, and so on, and giving that next to the next agent, which, for example, is responsible for the visual aspect. So it may be generating some image or just choosing a suitable image from your database or suitable video from your database, and then sending that next to the editor. This editor can be a human, and it can be also an AI editor if you want to fully automate the process that is just reviewing the final post or posts, making some changes, making some adjustments, and then executing the publishing process. So automatically putting that to the LinkedIn, automatically uploading that to the website, to the Facebook, and other channels. So the main point of those three examples was to demonstrate you that AI agents can look different. They can work different. The AI agent can be a chatbot that has access to different tools and documents and places. The AI agent can be something that is working in background. You do not see that. Just every time an email is sent, something is happening, and then the answer is prepared. And then the AI agent can be also a subset of AI agents working together with human and with each other to automate some larger process or procedure. Now, let me show you how such agents are working and how such agents look like based on example of a specific automation platform. So I have prepared for you an example of a customer support agent, which is configured by me in the automation platform named N8N. So this platform is allowing us to put various agents together from the pre-built steps or blocks. Think about them as Lego blocks. And as you can see here, for example, I have a simple agent which is connected to my mailbox, which is then using artificial intelligence to do the classification of the emails. So let's imagine that I'm running a web shop. I have the e-commerce, which is selling rubber ducks. And my customers are sending me various emails, for example, frequently asked questions, then they ask about the product availability, they are sending refunds, they are sending some more escalation required, like urgent complaints and resolved issues that needs to be handled by managers and other things. And as you can see here, for every category, I have written just a textual description. What does it mean? So what does it mean to have a frequently asked question? Or what does it mean to receive a refund request? So I'm just explaining to AI in the similar way as I would explain that to the human employee. And based on my explanation, the AI will be able to read the email, compare that with the various types and their descriptions, and understand what this email is about. And then for different email types, request types, I'm having here a different logic. For example, if I have a frequently asked question, then I have built here an agent, another agent that is responsible for writing an answer. And what this agent has, it has access to the multiple places where he can get more information about my company. So for example, I have a Google Docs document where I gather together frequently asked questions and their answers. And then I have also a product database, a table, which I connected my agent to so it can go and check what are the products that are currently available, that are currently in stock. If some products are not available at the moment, then when they will again be in stock and so on. And I am giving those tools, and the agent will be capable to decide by itself, based on the question what is sent by the customer, which tools it needs to use to answer the question. And let me show you how this is working. So here I have a mailbox where my customers are sending me requests. And here I have already a new message that was sent some time ago with the following body. Hello, what is the delivery time and what products are available at the moment? And now when I run this agent for you manually, you will be able to see what exactly is happening. So as you can see here, the agent found one email and sent that to the classification node. After that, the AI understood that this is a frequently asked question, and it sent it next to my agent, which is responsible for writing an answer. This agent went and checked the frequently asked question document because there were a frequently asked question. Then it also went and checked the product database. And based on that, it created a draft of an answer and sent that back to the Gmail. So if now I go back to my mailbox and refresh that, I will see that the draft has appeared here, and it looks something like that. So the agent has written that the delivery time is something like that. The information is coming from my document. And here you can see what are the available products. Again, the information is coming from our database. What are the products that are currently not available and what to do next. And as you can see, this answer looks really nice. It looks really professional. So basically, I can just press a button, send, and send that out to the customer. Or if I really start trusting my agent well, then I can fully automate this process and send those answers out to the customers automatically. So this can be that your agent is handling and answering the requests automatically, but there can be a different logic as well. So let's imagine that our customer wants a refund. Hi, I want a refund. So let's just see what the agent is going to do in that case. So if I execute this workflow again, we're going to see that there is a new email, and now this is a refund request. And the logic now was that I want to notify an accounting. So I have a Telegram group where my accountant are sitting, and I have just sent a message to this Telegram group that there is a new refund request sent by the customer. Here is the message, please do with that. And here is the example how you can simplify integrations with other systems. You can connect the Telegram, you can connect the WhatsApp, you can connect Jira, CRMs, various bunch of systems to just very easily send the information there or distribute information about between the multiple systems, and through that to simplify the process, as today often people are doing that manually. So guys, this was an example of a customer support agent, and in general, a brief intro for you what we are talking about when we mention the AI agent term and what and how AI agents look like. Let's now talk a little bit what to do with that and how to use this information practically. So let's imagine that you are now extremely motivated and you say, cool, I would like to change something within my company or within my organization or just in my everyday process. So where do I start from and how to ensure that it is going to work? So I will share with you 4 important steps based on my experience working with many customers, what you need to consider when starting to implement the artificial intelligence. Now, the very first thing, what I would like you to think about and to determine is to define your strategic goal. Every company at every moment of time is having at least one of those challenges. You rather want to sell more, you want more customers, you want to increase the revenue, or you're selling enough, but you want to produce more. You have more customers that you can serve, so you want to be more efficient. Maybe you want to have better quality. Maybe you want to have more people or increase efficiency. So the challenge number 2 is to increase the production output, throughput, and the efficiency. And the third challenge, what you may have, is that you want to reduce your costs. You want to have more profits, or you want to reduce prices. So you want to be more effective. What is important is that you're not going to solve all of those challenges, even if you have all of them at the time, but you choose one of them as your top priority for the period of next 6 or maybe 12 months, and you will be thinking and planning AI and automation implementation from the perspective of this strategic challenge. So if you want to sell more, you will be asking a question: what should I do? Which AI tools should we implement to sell more? If we want to be more effective and if we want to reduce costs, then the question will be, what AI tools will help us to be more efficient, to reduce some routine tasks, do things faster, cheaper, and so on. But it is important to choose one goal at a time. Now, questions, guys, to you. Question to you. What is the most important challenge in your company at the moment? If you would need to pick only one, which of them is the most important? 1, 2, or 3? Write to the chat. So you can just write 1, 2, or 3, and let's see. Mm-hmm. 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 Cool. Great. Mm-hmm. Very good. Thank you guys for sharing that. So as you can see, different people, different companies are having different challenges. And this is okay. We all experience different challenges in our lives and in our companies. So once the core challenge is clear, we can now move next to identify the suitable solutions and technologies. So if we know that we need to sell more, we are going to start looking for exactly those types of solutions that would help us to sell more, and so on for the other challenges. So on this slide and next slide, I have prepared for you a short list of the technologies and solutions that I have used, that I have implemented to my customers, and that I have seen are really working and really helping. So you can just make a screenshot. I will not be talking in details about all of them, but you can make a screenshot and you can investigate them further later. I will just very shortly introduce what are those main categories, what they are useful for, and where to start from. So the main first most obvious thing to start implementing are AI assistants. Those are just ChatGPT, just Grok, just Claude, Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, doesn't matter. The AI assistants themselves can be extremely helpful for the content creation, for the customer support and communication, for the generating ideas, for the fast information search. And just by equipping your department, your company, your employees with the ability and skill to use them effectively, you will be able to achieve a lot. If your priority is to sell better, you will be able to write better emails. Your communication will be more smooth. You will be now able to communicate on other languages better and so on. If you want to reduce drag, reduce cost somewhere, the AI assistants can be very helpful in terms of looking information, producing results, documents faster, and so on. So this is obviously the first place to start from. The basic tools to equip people with the understanding, knowledge, how to use those tools effectively. Now, the second type of tools that can be very useful are research tools. Tools like ChatGPT Deep Research or Google Notebook LM are very helpful if you have use cases where you need to process a lot of data from the internet, for example. You want to research your competitors, you want to research the market, you want to research the news, you want to do that on a continuous basis. You want to know every week what your competitors are doing. You can use Deep Research for that for only $20, guys. Now, imagine you have other processes where you have a lot of documents. Your engineers need to look for the right technical specification, or your analysts need to find the right documentation, and so on. Notebook LM can help you with that. You can just upload your huge files to the Notebook LM, and you will receive a chatbot which will be helping to identify the right place, the right document, and will make those processes much, much faster. Then the next important technology are AI agents and chatbots. Technologies like N8N, which I already showed to you, and then Make.com and Microsoft Power Automate help to automate routine workflows. You can build various small and sometimes even large automations, which will be helping you to automate answering customer questions, maybe transferring the data between systems, producing content for your marketing, moving the data between various departments and people, and so on. Then, transcription and meeting solutions like Otter and Microsoft Teams can help you to make your meetings with your customers and internal meetings much more productive and reduce time necessary to prepare meeting notes, to prepare to-do lists, to prepare some summaries, and so on. So those tools can be connected to your meetings, they record everything, and then based on that recording, they automate creation of the meeting notes, to-do lists, can be very efficient and very useful in case meetings are part of your everyday life. Then, upcoding tools. Tools like Claude Code or Cursor are built to help write code without writing code. That means that today people can build simple applications, simple software without knowing nothing about programming. For sure, this is not something that is suitable for enterprise development, but it is extremely useful if, for example, first of all, you want to accelerate the software development process. So you want to do some things faster. You want to build some prototypes, some examples. It's also very useful when you need to build and show something to your customer or to your investor. And it's also very useful if you need something small. So it's not some huge software, but you need to automate small process, maybe one-time job and so on. So for sure, it's worth to exploring those tools as they do not only simplify the software development process, but they also open new opportunities for the non-technical people. Then video creation tools like Synthesia and HeyGen allow you to build high quality, nicely looking professional videos with AI avatars. So on those videos, you can have people fully generated by artificial intelligence, talking nicely on different languages about your products, your services, providing some trainings and knowledge for your internal employees, simplifying the internal communication. And even they can be used for your marketing purposes, as you can build avatar from yourself. You can even clone your voice, and your customer or your employee will never know, is it you or this is an AI avatar? Even you cannot know today, is it me, Andres, or maybe that's already an AI avatar talking on the webinar. But don't worry, I promise that's me, at least for now. So the next bunch of tools are sales automation tools. Tools like Instantly and Apollo.io are built to simplify finding potential clients. They have huge databases scrapped from the web of companies, contacts, and they can automate you and simplify you finding the right leads, automate email sending, managing your sales pipeline, follow upping your customers, and so on. So if your worry is sales, then those tools are for sure what you need to explore. And finally, marketing automation tools. Tools like Ad Creative or even just ChatGPT or N8N can help you with generation of the ads and visuals, with organizing and optimizing your email, Facebook, Instagram campaigns, creation of the targeting messages for your customers or for your auditories, and so on. So those 8 technology categories and those specific tools are, at my opinion, today are most practical and most useful, something what can deliver you value quite fast and in a quite visible way. Choose one that matches your strategic priorities, explore them more, see how and where you can start applying them. And the next step is start with experimenting with some simple solutions and some simple assistance. Today, you do not need to allocate a huge budget and hire a huge development team to try something. Most of those tools are available for experimentation at a very, very small cost. And let me prove that. For example, you can build simple assistants that could automate or simplify some processes just by using ChatGPT or Google Gemini. Yes, you would require a paid license for that, which is only about 22 euros per user per month. What you can do there, you can create a chatbot that, for example, can support you on content creation for your different marketing channels. Or you can build there an internal knowledge assistant that will know your internal procedures, internal guidelines, and you can share that with employees to simplify for them access to the documents and access to the information. You can build a new employee onboarding assistant. If your new employees must pass and read some specific documents, be aware of specific guidelines, you can simplify this process by building an assistant that knows about your guidelines, about your procedures, and presents that to the employee. You can build a technical support assistant helping people with fixing their computers or understanding how to use the software what they need to use based on your guidelines, and so on. So a lot of use cases can be done very easily. And let me show you, if you have never done that before, let me show you how to do that, for example, in ChatGPT. So if you want to build a simple automation assistant in ChatGPT, what you need to do is to navigate to the ChatGPT and to find such place in the menu as GPTs. So GPTs are kind of a small assistants, small agents. Once you click this button, you will see that there is a GPTs library. So here you can see all the other, all the like assistants developed by other people, freely available for you. You can explore them, you can read them and use them and so on. But if you want to build your own personal assistant, the thing what you need to do is to use this create button here on top. Once you press this button, the new page will be opened where you can do the following things. First, you can name your assistant. So for example, you can tell that this is a new employee onboarding assistant. Here you can write a description for new employee, like what this is for. This is just to help people to understand what this tool is about. And the next thing what you need to do is to write an instructions. So by instructions, you're helping the AI to understand what you expect from it. So here you write that I want you to do the following things. I want you to follow my guidelines. I don't want you to do that and so on. So instructions or prompt is something what helps you to define the behavior of this agent. And this is something what the user will not be able to see or not be able to change. So you define that one time, and then you just share your ready-made assistant with other people. So in my case, I will write something like that. So my instruction is the following. It's not the right instruction. In reality, I would write it in a much more comprehensive way, but just to be fast. You're a Manpower Group onboarding assistant. Answer new employee questions based on the uploaded documents only. If you don't know the answer, direct them to the HR department. And the next thing, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the document, what I have found in internet, which looks like a very good example of a traditional onboarding document. So it's a Manpower Group Code of Business Conduct and Ethics. So I will just take this PDF and I will upload this PDF here under knowledge. So as you can see here, I can upload one of multiple files to give my agent, my assistant, access to the information. Now, once this is uploaded, I can also decide, do I want this agent to do web search, to use Canvas, to generate images? I don't want. I want it only to use my documents to answer the questions. And once this is ready, I press the create button. And as you can see, it offers me the following sharing options. It can be only my agent, or I can share with the link to everybody. So every ChatGPT user, I can put it to the GPT store to be available freely for everybody. And if you will order a team license, which is enterprise license, then you will see your team members here as well. So you will be able to select with whom from your team, from your company, you want to share this agent. So right now I will choose that anyone with the link can use the agent, and it will take a couple of seconds to prepare the agent. So far, we can find something what we would like to ask about. So for example, here in our document, we can see that there is a training and certification topic and an enforcement and waivers. And this failure to comply and so on. So for example, let's imagine that I have a question. I have not read this document. I have a question about enforcements and waivers in our company, and my GPT is now ready. By the way, I can share this link with you as well. You can try that as well later. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open that. And right now it will create a new chat with this assistant for every one of us. So if you will open the link, you will get a new chat and we will be able to ask questions, and our assistant will act based on our instructions and based on our documents. So for example, I may ask about enforcements and waivers. Hello, what are in our company? And what our assistant is going to do now is going to check the available documentation, and it's going to provide an answer to the employee, which is going to be purely based on the documents what you have uploaded. And as you can see, enforcement waivers, so the information what we are having here is very similar to the one that we have here. Now, why this is important? This is important because I have seen multiple use cases where such simple agents built in ChatGPT or Google Gemini can bring a significant value to the companies. So all the use cases where you are doing some research or content production or data search things based on the same routine, same process, and maybe you have also a department of people doing that in the same way. Right now, you can just build one assistant that will be assisting all of them and allowing them to identify the right place, right document, right location much faster, or to produce the messages, the documents in a much more unified, systematic way, and so on. So simple solution, a lot of value. Now, the last step, what I would like you to remember about in the AI implementation process is the measuring results and continuous strategic development step. So once you build a solution or adopt some technology, as you remember, you adopt that for the particular purpose. Maybe your purpose was to grow your sales, or maybe your purpose was to reduce costs in a specific amount of hours or euros. To ensure that this happens, you need to measure result. So once the solution is built and implemented, do not forget to go and check if the goal was really achieved, if the sales was really increased, or if the costs were really reduced. This is important, extremely important for you to learn, because AI adoption is not one-time thing. You're going to do that all the time. There will be all the time new functionalities, new technologies, new options, new knowledge available. To be able to learn and to grow, you need to measure the results that you're getting. You need to understand, have you achieved the result or not? And if not, then why? And from asking why, you can learn and you can continue implementing new tools, new technologies, and make other changes strategically, keeping in mind your goals and also considering things what you have learned. Now, when approaching the AI implementation process, many companies make the same mistakes, what I would like to share with you and what I would like you to avoid. So 4 main things. The first thing, many companies, many organizations, when they start adopting technology, AI, and automation, they are too enthusiastic. They try to automate everything at once or many things at once. The problem with that is the more changes, the more implementation projects you launch, you start, the more burden you're creating and the harder it is going to be to execute them and to see the real result. So in order to simplify the work, the challenge, I would really recommend you to start at the beginning with really maybe 1, maximum 2 really important processes. To do those small things, to complete them, to see the results, to learn, to see how this is really working, to be able to share with other people in your company how this is working, how it has helped. In that way, you'll have much higher probability of reaching the result and seeing some real change happening. The second thing, what I would like to remember about is not to choose the process, the task or workflow that is too complicated or has an unclear ROI. What does that mean, that the process or task is too complicated? If the change what you would like to execute requires a huge budget or a huge amount of time, or changes in your internal procedures, or changes in the legislation, or changes in the huge amount of people, it may be not the best first thing to start with, as you will have a lot of barriers there, you will have a lot of uncertainty, and there is a lot of things that may go wrong. So by taking such use cases, you take a risk to fail, and then you take a risk that you may also make a conclusion that the technology is not working or AI is not working, but it is not true. Very often, the things are not working not because the technology is not capable, but because it was not implemented well, or the use case which it was the people were trying to apply it was too complicated. So the third thing is, do not forget to measure results. Without that, without measuring the results, the impact is going to be unclear. For every AI implementation project, you need to have a clear, simple KPIs, what you can measure. And finally, do not forget that very often implementing a new technology, implementing some AI assistance means influencing other people's work. Those people can be your colleagues, those people can be your managers, those people can be your customers. To succeed, you need to attract and involve those people early. Then you will be able to reduce barriers and ensure that those people understand the value, they understand why you're building something or why you're implementing something. They're trained, they have the appropriate knowledge and understanding, and you increase significantly that your project or your implementation initiative is going to be successful. So guys, this was my simplified framework on how to approach AI implementation within the company, especially if you have not done that systematically before. So as a recap, the step number 1, choose your strategic priority. 1. Second, choose the technologies that support your strategic priority and what you can experiment with easily. Focus on specific processes or tasks that have clear value and are not too complicated or too vague to change. Do an experiment, measure results, and based on your results, move forward. Create based on that a strategic AI implementation process where you understand the value, you understand the technologies, you try, you experiment, you get the results, you measure them, and based on that, you and your company evolve. Now, I would like to ask all of you a question once again. The question is the following. Based on your company and your personal reality, and based on everything what I have introduced you before, what do you think could be the next step or the first step what you could undertake even today or tomorrow to start implementing AI in your company, in your department, maybe in your professional life? What do you think is that one specific step? Can you please think about that for a moment and share that with me in the chat? Mhm. So Marco, to approach this challenge, system documentation search, what is the one thing what you need to do to start moving in that direction, that this solution would really be created, be implemented? Where do you need to start from? Mhm. 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 So you think that for you, the priority, the challenge is clear, and you can start with researching what could be the right technology that can be connected to the Confluence and so on. Maybe you can take a look at Atlassian has already built something or is building in that direction. If not, then analyzing what could be the alternative approach. So Catherine is providing precise instructions to the AI agent. Catherine, but what is the purpose? So why you're building those instructions? Is that clear for you? So I hope that all the participants of our webinar managed to think at least about their first step. So Catherine is writing, I don't know exactly how to give instructions to the agent so that he accurately fulfills my request. Catherine, I would suggest you to read, investigate a little bit about prompting and prompting best practices. There are many great videos and courses available on this topic, as well as on OpenAI webpage. They have a documentation like how to prompt their agents. So start from there, try to improve, learn how to prompt well and how to improve the quality of those prompts. But for sure, it depends on what is the use case that you're having. Leonid is writing choosing technology and preparing knowledge database. Yeah, defining the problem clearly, learn the necessary tools. Helen, I love your answer. That's the very good first step. The first thing needs to be done is the problem needs to be clear. The problem needs to be very clear what you're going to solve and why you're going to solve that. And then you can identify necessary tools. And if necessary tools are clear or not clear, you can always ask for help. You can always reach somebody. You can always go and do some research when your problem is clear and the value that you're targeting to create is also clear. So do not forget about that. Too many people rush into building something without properly stating the problem and the value they want to achieve. And why this is bad is because it is not giving you the proper foundation to communicate your idea, to communicate your solution to others and explain. So for example, Marco, in your case, you could think, if I would implement this AI agent, how many hours in our company it could save? What would it mean in the money per year or per 5 years? And then you may identify that this is a great investment place and so on. So it may start taking completely different level of understanding and level of clarity from the perspective of the problem and the value. Great. So guys, one thing more to mention is that I very often see that people sometimes are very motivated to start implementing AI and approaching the AI implementation within the organizations, but they don't know where to start. What is the right technology? What is the right opportunity and how to approach that so it would really be successful? Now, to help you with that, what I'm doing, I'm time to time running a free AI implementation consultation sessions or calls. This is a one-to-one call where we would take up to 1 hour, typically 45 minutes, where we could go through your needs and through your ideas and through your automation demands, discuss the focus areas and potential solutions, where I can introduce you some similar solutions or technologies what were used to solve similar use cases, and as a result, help you to achieve a better level of quality, clarity, how to move forward. So if you are interested to participating in such a consultation, then use the opportunity. Scan the QR code, or I have shared with you a link in the chat. You can just fill there is a short form. I will get your request. We can book a time, and hopefully I can help you, or somebody else from my team can help you to move toward your goals even faster and more effectively. Now, I would like to spend a couple of minutes of your time to share how exactly our company is supporting other companies and organizations on their AI implementation journey and what we are doing in general. So shortly, we are today working in 3 core directions. First thing, what we are doing, we are organizing and conducting AI implementation strategy trainings, primarily for the mid and large size companies, with the goal to, first of all, educate people and explain and show them what are the capabilities of the artificial intelligence and various tools, but more importantly, to help them to identify specific implementation initiatives, to assess them, to prioritize them, and based on that, to create for the company a clear AI implementation roadmap or action plan. So this is typically a 2-day training, 2 full-day training, and we are doing that a lot for the manufacturing, logistics, banking, and public companies. The next thing, what we are providing is an AI and automation consulting and mentoring. So those people and companies who feel that they need additional extra support and competence in terms of implementing AI within the company, implementing some specific solutions, can hire our experts to be on board and help them consult, guide some AI implementation projects, and in general help to ensure that you have the necessary competence to execute your projects, AI implementation projects well. And finally, we have a technical team of people who are capable of building various technical solutions and AI agents. So what do? We develop a custom chatbots, we develop assistants, we develop automation systems for the sales, for customer support, for operational processes, and so on. Now, today, our main expertise, our main focus is on supporting mid and large size companies on their automation and AI implementation journey. So here you can see the companies with whom we are working today. We are cooperating with the companies from the public sector like Taltech and Enterprise Estonia, with the banks like Luminor and Riietumu Panka, and with many other logistics, manufacturing, construction companies. Their main challenge often is the quite high amount of employees, quite high amount of complicated routine processes that needs to be transformed, that needs to be changed, that needs to be modified with the power of artificial intelligence or other automation solutions. Great. So guys, well done. We have almost arrived to the end of our today's workshop, and see how many things we managed to cover within the last, let me see, 1 hour and 20 minutes. So I hope that at this moment of time, it is much more clear for you. First of all, what is the potential of your company from the perspective of artificial intelligence? We talk that how much time do money companies lose on average in Estonian markets and other markets, and what potential can be achieved through applying artificial intelligence and other automation tools. I have shared with you some examples as inspiration of what Estonian companies are already doing and where they're using AI to have some change. I have presented you a number of various technological solutions, what you can explore, what you can consider based on your goals and based on your strategic challenges. We have discussed how to build a simple AI assistant in ChatGPT. I have showed you an N8N platform and showed you how a more advanced AI agent could look like. And I also hope that for you it is now much more clear how to approach AI implementation in a practical way. So what are those steps? What to remember about? What common mistakes to avoid? The last thing what I would like to highlight here is that we covered a lot today. I hope that you are way smarter now, but the knowledge alone does not lead to result. The knowledge alone is trash. What you need to do, you need to perform some actions in terms to see some results. So I hope that you really managed for yourself to set this first step for yourself and that you can now go and do this step. And in case you're still unclear, then you have this amazing opportunity to register for the consultation where we can discuss, where I can motivate you more, where we can build a clear action plan, and then the probability that you will see some real change and transformation in your company will be way higher. So guys, thank you. It was a really pleasure that you were here today, that you were active, that you were participating, that you were answering my questions and asking your questions. I will now take some time to go through the chat and answer the questions what you may still have. If you have more questions, then feel free to now write them to the chat. And I would also be very happy if you will write a short feedback for me about our today's webinar. So did you enjoy the webinar? Was it useful? What was for you particularly valuable? And also if something were missing and you would like that me to improve or to change next time, then I'm also very open to see and hear that feedback as well. So far, when you're writing your questions and writing my feedback, I will send you again a links what you can use to register for the consultation call or to join our Estonian AI Innovators WhatsApp group, where we also have a bunch of nice people exchanging the knowledge, exchanging the information. We're posting there some useful guides time to time. And yeah, there can be also a nice place to be if you want to know and learn more about artificial intelligence. Cool. So I'm going now to scroll through the chat and see what are the questions there. So Kim, I can see your question about the approach, knowledge management of AI. Uh, so regarding the knowledge management, it really depends, and there can be many different solutions depending on what type of knowledge do you have and how huge is the knowledge base. So as you can see, have seen during today's webinar, some simple knowledge management solutions can be done even with the ChatGPT and Google Gemini. You can upload a couple of files and this will work. It will stop working once you will have a lot of files or not really even a lot. It will stop working if you will have over 20 huge PDFs. It will already not working best. And then you need just to consider a little bit different technical architecture, how to, for example, build a chatbot which will be able to answer based on the 1,000 PDF documents or 10,000 PDF documents or some large databases and so on. And Marco was asking, did it need a specific training to give a correct advice? Yes, Marco. Typically, AI agents need a specific training, but it really depends on the topic. So as you maybe already know, with ChatGPT, Google Gemini, they're quite capable to answer about general things, like well-known things. The challenge is when you have something specific, maybe which is not well known. Maybe this is your project or your documentation in that, or your company and so on. In that case, you would need to train, or you would need to enable this AI agent to look for the right information before it is going to generate you an answer. So for example, go to the Confluence, identify the proper articles, and now give an answer based on those articles. But typically, yes, additional work is required to build an agent or the chatbot that is answering questions based on your specific context. Great. And then Marco, can you please clarify what do you mean by functional slicing? Do you mean the technological stack? And by the way, guys, do you have any other questions while Marco is writing? If you still have something to ask, something to clarify, there is 2 minutes more to use this opportunity and ask your question. So whatever you feel is unclear for you, whatever you feel you need more information or examples about, use the opportunity. So, Marco, in our case, the primarily places where the artificial intelligence was used were sales, lead generation, marketing, customer support, so like processing, then technical support, various incidents processing, and so on. Then the third type of solutions very often is internal chatbots. So when you have a lot of knowledge in various systems, documents of search within those systems, search within those documents, identifying the right place, identifying the right document, making a summary, answering the questions, and so on. And then the last one, what I would like to highlight is a various technological automations. So when on the background, you need to move information from one system to another, or understand where to put the information and then split it. So for example, you have a documentation in Confluence and you want some part of it to move somewhere to the Jira, and then some part of it to move somewhere to the Zendesk. Or the customer is coming through the CRM. So automating those information exchange between the systems and using AI there sometimes to do some classification or routing of the information more intelligently than it would be with the classical rule-based system. Great. So I see no more questions at the moment. Then thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for your attention and for being there. I hope that now that you enjoyed the seminar and that now you're much smarter in terms of the artificial intelligence. If you would like to know more about that, or you would need me or our company help with some of your challenges, then the QR code is here. The link is in the chat. Use that. And I wish you a lot of luck. And I wish that you would use all this knowledge, all this information practically, and through that, improve your organizations and grow your personal career. And then Helen is asking a very broad question. In your opinion, how do you think AI will change the job market in the next 5-10 years? Are there any jobs you believe will disappear or be completely transformed, and why? Helen, unfortunately, I will not answer your questions at the moment, but you can register for the consultation, and that could be a separate interview, as this is a very broad question. But shortly, yes, it will change. It is already changing. It will change a lot, and many jobs will disappear or be transformed, like a lot of them. Almost all the jobs that are digital, that are not connected to, building a house or working with a patient in the hospital, all the digital jobs connected to the computer will very probably be drastically changed. And we can see how it is happening already today. We can see, especially in the digital field, in the software development field, how companies are firing software developers who are very rare resource always and are replacing them with AI. And this is a global trend, especially in US, when large institutions are firing engineers because the AI is able to do their job, at least partially, and there is no need for so many people so far. So it's clear that there is a lot of changes going to happen. But it's also clear that there will be a lot of new challenges and people will still have a lot of job to do, as always. So great. Thank you, everybody. And have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.